This also kind of relates to the point people like to bring up about how Batman is just really mean or he isn't caring enough about others in the slightest.
That's
Incorrect.
so incorrect. So incorrect, bro. It's so incorrect. That is the worst take. That is the worst take about Batman ever.
I mean, hey, tell me you don't understand Batman without telling me you don't understand Batman. I don't see how someone even remotely familiar with
Damn, who that? Damn, who that?
sick and tired of this Batman buffoonery. Batman slander. It's one of the worst things to come out of the internet, as it mainly stems from ignorance and just a clear misunderstanding of what the character actually stands for and represents. It really makes you question if these people are just stupid or if they've just successfully baited people for engagement. Probably both in most cases. It's no surprise I felt the urge to come in and debunk all this nonsense. He's one of the best characters DC has to offer for a reason. Like, in terms of fictional characters, he's probably been my top white boy of the century. Now, you are not stupid if you don't like the character or if you have an issue with how he's written. It's more so problematic when it comes from the Batman beats up poor people allegations. As the title suggests, this is a part 2 to the worst opinions on Batman video I did a while back. So if you're wondering why there won't be some horrendous takes covered like Batman killing or the misconception that he doesn't use his wealth to support Gotham, it's probably because it was covered in that video. I mean, hey, the video's good,
but it can be better.
First point I want to clear up is not only a misconception amongst fans, but also something seen in media, which is the sentiment that Batman is such a horrendous
being a demon, bro. Somebody come get this cat, man. Pause. Pause, bro.
Figure as he recruits child soldiers to fight in a war.
Let me in.
I'm nothing like your Batman. I don't recruit children to fight in a war. That Batman is a fool.
I'll tell you what he wasn't. Alone.
I mean, if your only exposure to Batman is Frank...
Look at her back there. Scaling my motherfucking apartment, man.
Miller's all-star Batman and Robin, and maybe even The Dark Knight Returns, then yeah, I could understand that viewpoint. The point of the Robins isn't so Batman could selfishly seek aid for his war on crime and carelessly put children in danger. In the case of Dick Grayson, he saw himself in Dick at that age since he attended Haley's circus when Dick's parents were ruthlessly taken from him by Tony Zuko. He knows firsthand what that kind of trauma can do to someone, as Bruce went out of his way to implement his teachings to make sure Dick didn't turn up the same way he did.
Robin needed to help bring the men who murdered his family to justice.
So he could turn out like you?
So that he wouldn't.
That's what niggas don't be getting, bruh. Like, and these shits, like, this take is so tired, too, because anytime you argue with them about it, they just switch to something else like plot armor, or they try to just automatically, like, they'll switch straight from Dick Grayson or Damian Wayne, because they know they can't argue about that shit. They'll go straight to Jason Todd, the one time where this shit could be somewhat true, and it's not even true. It's just the way it was framed by other people in the story. And yo dumbass fell for it rather than seeing shit for how it is. But hey, I digress.
Nightwing is the personification of Batman's greatest success and is the golden boy of the Bat family, capable of moving on from his past trauma and becoming more of a hopeful hero and working with others. These characters aren't child soldiers he recruits like a military general or something. They're his kids. Tim Drake is not one of his countless child soldiers. He's his son. He takes on these children to help them. Jason was a troubled kid out here in the streets trying to take apart wheels from the Batmobile. Jason's mother was dead and his father was in prison for life, but Batman sought out the chance to actually help him. After the death of Jason Todd, Bruce was hellbent on not wanting to recruit another Robin, but for some reason, some people think he had no morals and just decided to recruit Tim Drake right after the death of Jason.
Thank you, bro. They always like to, cause that's how they would understand it, bro. I swear, bro, niggas, like, people are a complex bag of emotions, but not really all the time, bro. Half the time, these niggas just be projecting the shit that they're thinking, and it's so clockable. Niggas gonna project the whole time. Oh my gosh, Batman is so stupid. He should have never picked up another Robin. That is literally them just projecting how they read the story. Why would Batman do that? That's a question they have, for sure. Good question. But they're telling you the answer. They're telling you it.
Another Robin, but for some reason, some people think he had no morals and just decided to recruit Tim Drake right after the death of Jason, like it didn't scar him mentally. Brother, Tim Drake sought out Batman and Nightwing. He kind of just inserted himself into becoming a Robin. Tim at a young age realized how
And they try to, but Batman couldn't tell him no. It gets to a point where this nigga could expose the truth, expose that. Ain't sure you could. I low key. Let me just finish. Let me
how unhinged and rash Batman was becoming since Jason's death at the hands of the Joker. It took a significant mental toll on him. Tim initially sought out Nightwing to convince him to become Robin again, as he noted that Batman needed a Robin to sort of keep him in check. But after Batman and Nightwing were kidnapped by Two-Face, Tim wore the old Robin costume and saved them, saying how Batman needs a Robin no matter what Batman thinks. Tim had to go to great lengths to prove himself as a worthy partner to Batman, getting the proper training and being the best detective out of the Robins. After the death of his mother and father, Bruce ended up legally adopting Tim Drake as his son to ensure he had the security he felt Tim Drake deserved and had a proper home and Wayne Manor. His desire in wanting to help some of these troubled kids obviously isn't limited to the likes of the three Robins I just mentioned. He served as a father figure to Cassandra Cain, who had only been taught how to kill and knew body language as her only means of communication. She didn't know how to read or speak properly. Then there's his biological son, Damian Wayne, who was raised by the League of Assassins. You can see his character growth as he learns to become less violent, work well with others, implement his father's no-kill rule, and become an actual hero. So with all that in mind, imagine my frustration when you have certain adaptations that make Bruce an absolute psycho, like in the Titans show, where he immediately starts looking for new recruits after the death of Jason Todd. Like it wasn't even a whole week after Jason's death and bro was already hunting.
Who are these kids? Who are they?
Potential recruits.
How can you even think this is a good idea? Turn them into a sidearm? A weapon? Fuck them up in the head, or even worse, get them killed like—
And that's how niggas actually go on to believe bullshit, bro, because niggas aren't even adapting this shit the right way when it comes down to it.
This also kind of relates to the point people like to bring up about how Batman is just really mean or he isn't caring enough about others in the slightest.
That's
Incorrect.
so incorrect. So incorrect, bro. It's so incorrect. That is the worst take. That is the worst take about Batman ever.
I mean, hey, tell me you don't understand Batman without telling me you don't understand Batman. I don't see how someone even remotely familiar with the character can come to this conclusion, despite the fact that there are so many iterations that show his compassion and willingness to help others. It's literally his prime motivation for becoming Batman in the first place. It's not like he donned the cape and cowl solely for revenge against JoJo. Everybody's seen that moment from Justice League Unlimited where he comforts Ace before she dies.
They'd strap me into their machines and poke wires into my brain. Ace, can you move this object with your mind? I got cheated out of my childhood.
I know what that's like.
I read your mind. That's how I knew you weren't going to use Mrs. Waller's weapon on me. I'm dying very soon.
I'm sorry.
Could you stay with me? I'm scared.
He sat with her until her time came.
There are many instances where he seeks to
Like, why would anyone do that?
help those around him,
If they
especially
didn't give
children,
a
such
fuck.
as in Batman War on Crime by Alex Ross and Paul Dini, where he convinces a kid named Marcus, who lost his parents in the same way Bruce did, to not use a gun, telling him how important it is to not take part in the cycle of violence that took both of their parents. For crying out loud, this is the same guy who keeps a lollipop in his utility belt, which was shown when Nightwing was trying to comfort a young Jonathan Kent after he got lost flying. Like, some of y'all really just making yourselves look foolish with these garbage takes.
It's you, isn't it? Everybody's been talking about you. The other kids won't believe me. No way!
Back off, you're scaring the boy.
Well, I try not to brag, but,
Have you finished your homework yet?
right.
New look? A sidekick?
Let's just say I set out to scare criminals, not children.
Relating back to the Batman only beats up the poor and mentally ill, which is hilarious considering these people are psychotic serial killers and eco-terrorists, but okay.
Like you're focusing on one aspect of the character when you say that bullshit. Batman only focuses on the poor and the mentally ill. Black Mask is rich. What then? Falcone.
Okay. But it's the misconception that Batman inevitably created all of his villains, and his presence is what caused such a large amount of costumed villains to run amok in Gotham. Yeah, this is a load of BS I've ever seen.
That
People
shit.
not
Created villains. That shit is so BS, bro. That shit really. There was this one bald white nigga. There was this bald dude who was talking about how Batman was he creates all his villains. He is the reason for everything bad in Gotham. Like, just a load of malarkey. And he based it on one comic panel.
understand that Gotham City is so comically corrupt. Bruce Wayne throwing a bunch of money isn't going to stop the crime rate. The problems in Gotham go far beyond poverty or whatever. You can't...
I swear to God, like, oh my gosh, he fixed the system. What about all these afflicted people? Like, what are we talking about?
implement real-life solutions if the problems are so out of left field and nonsensical. What the hell is Bruce Wayne gonna do when Joker has 37 bombs planted underneath Gotham City? Or when Mr. Freeze threatens to cover the entire city in ice or something? Not to mention, Bruce Wayne already plays a key role in using his wealth to help the city. People who think...
Yeah, that's the big thing. That's the real kicker. He's already doing it. The Thomas Wayne Foundation, the Martha Wayne Foundation. Who do you think is keeping those things alive, buddy? The other kids? What are we talking about?
Otherwise are just wrong. Literally, most of his villains being, well, villains, honestly have nothing to do with Batman. Without him, there'd still be plenty of bad guys roaming the streets. Matter of fact, the city would be 10 times worse if it wasn't for Batman's efforts. What, you think Batman's responsible for the Court of Owls? The secret society that's been running Gotham from the shadows for centuries? So effectively, I might add, that Batman didn't even know of their confirmed existence until later in his career, as he thought they were just an urban legend? You think Ra's al Ghul wouldn't attempt to purge Gotham and start anew if Batman wasn't around? Mr. Freeze's sole motivation is to save his dying wife. Victor Zsasz is a serial killer who enjoys killing. Poison Ivy's accident has nothing to do with Batman. All of the established crime families would be running the show. You think Bruce Wayne alone is gonna find a way to somehow stop the Falcones, the Maronis, Oswald Cobblepot, Roman Sionis? They have just as much power as he does, and money. One of the only villains he has had a part in creating somewhat is the Joker. There's an entire episode of Batman the Animated Series
that's the only one. Literally the only one.
Didn't make his villains. Their set path to villainy is completely independent of Batman's existence.
And in the movie, you could say, I guess, Two-Face, but that was all Joker's doing.
A bunch of Batman's villains kidnap him and the current district attorney at Arkham Asylum to hold their own twisted trial to prove that their existence is Batman's fault. Mad Hatter was able to subdue the Arkham personnel with his mind control tech. Two-Face was the prosecutor, Joker was the judge, the DA was the defense, and her client was Batman.
The good people of Arkham Asylum versus the self-righteous vigilante called Batman.
We're all freaks and monsters. And who made us this way? Batman.
Yeah!
And so it's Batman's fault you lead a life of crime. Isn't the real motivation for your crimes your obsession with plants? That you prefer them to people? Then it doesn't bother you when someone ruthlessly plucks a defenseless flower, even knowing he's given it his death sentence, one by one, until it's all gone, honey. But now I see nearly everyone here would have ended up exactly the same, Batman or not. The truth is, you created him.
Yes, sir! Right. Yes, sir, boy. What? Exactly. You foster the need for him to remain on these streets. You do that, villain. You do that.
Damn, nigga.
Or how about that one episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold where Batman confronts Joe Chill and lets him know that he's the son of the two people he murdered in Crime Alley. Then afterwards the villains are like, so you're the doofus who's responsible for Batman giving us a hard time?
Way back I whacked the guy for a job, and now that guy's son is Batman.
You're saying we owe Batman's existence to you?
So it's your fault Batman's always on our backs.
Wait.
I find it exhausting when people only want to see one type of Batman in live action, a Batman that's more grounded, works alone, no fantastical elements implemented. The Dark Knight trilogy and Matt Reeves' The Batman are solid depictions, but I'm about ready to see a live action Batman that isn't in his second year of crime fighting or something. I feel like
I need my nigga out there dodging dark side Omega beams on some shit. Duking it out with a motherfucking big ass babe. Big swole ass babe. Big killer Croc. I need him bigger than the Lizard type. Cause he is bigger than the Lizard. I need a Mr. Freeze. Freeze in the city. I need these things, man.
As if across different mediums we've gotten more Batman depictions recently where he's early in his career rather than in his prime. Give us a more comic accurate Batman that's able to stand alongside Superman and the rest of the Justice League. It's kind of ironic how the one version of Batman that's different enough to warrant another adaptation in a live action film is the one that's more accurate to the comics. When's the last time we got a Bat family in a theatrical film? Batman and Robin? The Robin in the Snyderverse was already dead, and that Batman was an old veteran and was written by a man with zero understanding of the character. Let's see a modern comic Arkham Games kind of Batman with a bright and vibrant Batcave featuring different suits and trophies. Advanced technology and gadgets with a comic accurate Batsuit would be something we've never genuinely gotten. In all honesty, most of these garbage takes would be avoided if people just didn't make assumptions and just picked up a couple comic books here and there. You don't need to be some high-level expert on all things DC or Batman to know that these opinions are just wrong. I'm sure as hell no expert, nor do I have some PhD equivalent on Batman. I'm just an average fan. It seems like people are so hell-bent on being contrarians or looking cool that they're willing to make themselves actually look stupid in the process, or at the very least seem like they have no idea what they're talking about. People want Bruce Wayne to use real-world solutions for fictional situations involving villains and conflicts that are cartoonishly out of pocket. He's not some child soldier abuser. He's a father-like figure. He prefers to work alone in some scenarios, but at the end of the day, he's a team player. There are too many teams to count he's taken a part of. Batman and the Outsiders, the Justice League International, Justice League of America, the Bat Family, Batman Incorporated. People shouldn't forget, he's not some anti-hero. He's a guy trying to do the right thing. And more notably, he's the goddamn Batman. Put some respect on my mans.
I'm the Batman. Into your dust.
I'm gonna stop that right there, though. Y'all go watch M Enterprises vid, man. It's a pretty good video. If you fuck with Batman, he's definitely giving you the ammo to start telling these niggas to stop dick riding and pick up a comic book.
Damn, who that?
Damn, who that?